The very nature of how you are made right now is, whatever you believe becomes your reality. When this is so, this complex impressions of memory that's been taken in, this huge heap of impressions which has been manipulated into different shapes and forms according to your thought and emotion, has become such a complex prison that to figure out your way through that is not possible, because who you are itself is controlled by that. You build a prison, and this was not built with the intention of imprisoning yourself. This prison was built with the intention of self-preservation. When you build a wall to preserve yourself, the walls that you build for self-preservation are also the walls of self-imprisonment. Just takes a little while to realize that. So once you build this wall with complex amalgamation of memory and imagination, and emotion involved. Now your very software is such, it is not geared to cross this wall. You must understand that you are not even going and knocking your head on the wall, because your software is geared to only just run within the walls, never even go and touch the wall. Unless you become aware enough, unless you become conscious enough to become conscious of those dimensions of memory which are on the unconscious levels of your memory bank. Unless you move to that space, till then you don't even touch the wall, because your software keeps you well within the wall space, never even makes an attempt. Within the prison, you'll seek freedom. Within the prison, you seek power, you seek freedom. There is some power and freedom, you know. Inside the prison, there's a whole kingdom. Somebody is running a whole kingdom inside. He's the boss there, he runs the whole kingdom there, he manages things there. He feels like a king inside a prison. So within the prison, you can seek a certain amount of power and freedom. That is allowed. But once the longing to go beyond the prison comes, if you become powerful within the prison, then you won't make an attempt ever to get out of the prison. Such a longing will not come. People, the prisoners who are convicted in a prison for short term, don't get involved with all this because they're just eager to get out. Those who are there for life, they know there is no way out of it. They are forming kingdoms inside, because they know anyway they're going to be in the prison for the rest of their life, so they are trying to make something out of it, find some kind of meaning to an imprisoned life. So, outside help unfortunately becomes necessary, because without outside help, you won't even realize there is another possibility. You will start seeking freedom and power within the prison spaces. And generally, Most prisons in the world are very orderly. They're kept well. Everybody gets up on time, goes to bed on time, eats on time, everything happens on time. It's a very orderly arrangement. Because for people who manage the prison, this order is the safety. If there is a disorderly movement, they can't figure out what's happening there. But a prison which is very orderly is very hard to escape from. So if you get very organized within yourself, you will see that prison becomes very hard to break. People who are very organized and controlled, you will see they will come to all kinds of programs, but nothing is happening. I'm very disciplined, I'm perfect, but all kinds of insane people are going crazy, but nothing is happening to me is always the question, because a very orderly prison is always a secure prison. The more secure a prison is, the further away from freedom you are. It needs a little chaos, but if chaos goes beyond a point, then it becomes unmanageable. When things are chaotic, easier to break through the walls. So to maintain a balance of a certain order and a certain level of chaos is lots of complex management. Once it happened, a surgeon, a field marshal or a general and a politician met in the coffee shop of a golf club. All of them retired. So the surgeon doesn't have his scalpel, the general doesn't have his guns, the politician doesn't have his power or his people. So they were just talking. And the surgeon said, of all the professions in the world, my profession of being a surgeon is the oldest profession. The other two asked, how so? So he said, you know, before this Adam and Eve, it was just Adam. And Adam's one rib was taken out, from that rib, Eve was made. Who else but a great surgeon can do that? So, it is the oldest profession. The general said, no, you're missing a point. Before even Adam came, do you remember it says that there was chaos and order was brought. Who else but a good soldier can bring order to such a situation? Soldier's job was the first thing in this creation. The politician chuckled and said, all that is fine, but who created the chaos? So, managing chaos, just enough so that your system doesn't get too orderly and the prison doesn't become too strong that it can't be broken, it can only be done by somebody who is not in the prison. One who is in the prison cannot do that. If he creates chaos, he will create totally destructive chaos. Only somebody who is not sentenced can create such a thing. It's because of this, traditions always insisted on a live guru, and where the situations were conducive, these gurus demanded total surrender. Where it was not, they talked elaborate philosophies. Krishna very unabashedly said, "You have to surrender to me, there is no other way." He never feared. It never occurred to him that somebody may think he seems to be too egoistic. Saying that, "I'm everything, you must surrender to me," is a very dangerous statement in today's world. But he never felt like that. He lived in a situation where he could simply say, "I'm everything, you must surrender to me, there is no other way." In recent times, we have not had such freedom to say such things. You have to weave it around and weave it around and weave it around and weave it around before you ever bring people to such a state. Here in this culture, people have been trained to surrender. Right from their childhood, wherever you take your children, children are told, first thing is bow down. Anybody elderly, you see, first bow down, touch their feet. This is because the whole culture, the whole nation at one time lived with a single-minded purpose of ultimate liberation. The whole population in this land, in this part of the world, was completely dedicated to ultimate liberation, mukti.